Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, we all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKodash, the one of the apostles, great millstone, ever well. And Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the works of sincerely and faithfully, continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing, we're finding that number to be delivered. All right. So tonight's lesson is going to be based off of headlines, and I believe I'm just going to entitle it Headlines. And these headlines are a wide variety of different things that have been taking place over the past month. All right. And we understand and know that there's going to be a total breakdown of society real soon. Okay. And when it comes to that, you're going to see much more of what we're reading in these headlines. All right. But with that being said, I'm going to get these headlines and then we'll go to, get a few scriptures and close it out. All right. So the first headline is going to be, go back. The first headline is going to be, this is from ABC News. It says prosecutors seek the death penalty against FedEx driver accused of child's murder. All right. And again, one of the worst things that a mother or a parent can face is the death of their child. You see? Now I don't know.
Scared, and I'm hoping that we find her.
Investigators locating her body late Friday. And FedEx telling ABC News that words cannot describe their shock at the reports surrounding this tragic event. Guys, just such a terrible story. Really.
Now, here you have a FedEx driver. These are one of the least people you think is going to do something stupid or sinister, because all they do is, drive around, jump out the truck, drop the package, and get back on the truck. But here, one of them jumped out the truck, snatched this little girl, drove her off 10 miles away from her home and killed her. All right. But as I was saying, one of the worst things for a parent is to find their child dead, or know that their child has been abducted to be killed. All right. But this is the path that this place is going down. And you're going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more people dying and killing and murdering. All right. People are on edge. But not only are they on edge, it's just the spirit that the Lord is going to put in the air these days. Okay. There's going to be a total breakdown of society. Total breakdown of everything you could possibly imagine here in Babylon that had some type of structure to it. And then the missiles will come. Now, I'm not going to read all these articles, just to give you a little quick snap of it. It says the district attorney in Texas will seek the death penalty against a man accused of kidnapping and murdering a 7-year-old Athena Strand while he was working as a FedEx contract driver. All right. So again, you can't trust nobody. You cannot put your trust in anybody. So much so even the FedEx man is lurking in the shadows, looking to see who can abduct or pounce on. All right. So that's one clip in the news. Let's see what else we got here. This is 3 killed, 1 hurt in home invasion, mass shooting. 17-year-old who dated one of the victims in custody. All right. Again, here we have the spirit of vengeance that are taking place throughout the country, man, and most likely throughout the world. Let me see if we can play something here. A few of these articles have video to them.
It's all here as we discussed.
Yeah, let this commercial play. But again, you're gonna start seeing a lot more of these things take place. Damn, I ain't got my glasses on, so there's no speaking to it. It's one of those silent ones. But basically, the dude was dating a young girl. They had a little altercation. He went back and got the pistol and came back and wet the place up, killing 3 people. All right. And this dude, 17 years old? And that's another thing too. These little wise asses, man, they're getting younger and younger. You see? and they have zero. They have zero. You know, I don't want to say fear because it's not even about fear, but they have zero consideration for anybody. Okay? And these are the majority of the people that are shooting up the joints everywhere you go, these young teens. But to the point now is, you know, you got these teens killing and murdering, and they ain't thinking twice about it. They don't think about it, they don't care about it, and they don't care about the consequences neither. You see? But these are some of the headlines we're going to be seeing. And again, you're going to see a lot more of these tragic, so-called tragic situations pop up. All right? Let me see here. I'll read a little bit of each one. It says a 17-year-old is in custody after he allegedly shot 4 people, including a girl he was dating in the home invasion in Bolingbrook, Illinois, according to police. Yeah, you brothers, you met them cats out there in Chicago, man. In Illinois, they wild, man. Them niggas is wild animals. You know? And them brothers out there who be teaching and speaking, man. Malcolm and them, Elder Malcolm and them brothers, they on point and they just, you know, they be bringing it out. But I take my hat off to you brothers out there because y'all in the bee's nest out there. And it says 3 of the victims were killed in Sunday night's mass shooting in Bolingbrook police. Bolingbrook police said they were identified as 40-year-old Cortez Daniels, an unidentified girl, and a 17-year-old Samaya Shelton Tillman, who was dating the suspect, according to police. A 34-year-old woman was shot, survived, and is in stable condition, police said. The sole suspect, 17-year-old boy who was dating Samaya, was quickly identified and taken into custody Sunday night, police said. He has not been formally charged, police said. A 3-year-old boy and a 14-year-old boy were also inside the home Sunday night, but were not hurt, police said. All right, that's it on that. Yeah, so again, you know, this is not going to subside. This is not going to stop. All right, and we haven't even begun to reach that phase where the time of Jacob's trouble is at hand. You know, the lawlessness of the breakdown of society. You know, the collapsing of the dollar, the depleting of the food system. We have yet to come into that, man. Right now, you can pretty much say everything's still, you know, sewn together, as the scriptures speak about that sown place becoming unsown. America is not unsown at this moment. But you best believe the minute they lose control of law and order, shit, don't venture out there in them streets in that day. All right, but we of the hopeful elect, we trust in put our burdens upon Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, that don't mean we're gonna be reckless. We still gonna be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, and move with vigor according to the Spirit. All right, but we're not gonna be afraid when these things start to pop off. You know, a lot of you people haven't been around gunshots, hearing the sounds of gunshots. You know, your virgin ears is going to be in for a rude awakening when you start hearing these gunshots, just, you know, popping off from every other angle. And right now, man, Jake is the worst offender. Jake is the worst offender, you know, as far as, you know, busting shots and killing people. These young Jakes are the worst offenders. And they ain't gonna think twice. They ain't gonna think twice about laying your ass low and leaving you leaking with holes when society breaks down. Okay? Let's move on. Let's see what we got here. What's this one here? This is a homeless man shot and killed execution style in St. Louis. Now, there's no video to this, but basically, this cat here on the right, he was walking down the road and ended up shooting this homeless dude in the back of the head, man. And according to the bystanders, it was unprovoked. The dude was just sitting on the ground minding his business. You know? But this is what you're going to have. This is what you're going to see. People are on edge. People just don't give a fuck anymore. Excuse my language, but that's the way they feel. They don't care no more. They don't care about going to jail. They don't care about getting shot by the police or in some type of murder, suicide, or police by murder by cop, or whatever they call it. Niggas don't care about that shit no more, man. And I'm gonna keep reiterating the fact that society hasn't been broken down yet. All hell has not broken loose yet. And cats are doing this shit. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad. Just by what we're reading in these headlines. You know? You know, they can talk about peace and safety. There's no peace and safety on the horizon. There's no such thing as peace and safety anymore. All right? And the whole big scheme of things, you know, this American government wants you to believe that they're under control. They got everything under control. But that's not the case, man. It's far from the case. And a lot of you Jake's gonna fall victim, you know, by the hands of another Jake. A little bit of the article says, a man was caught on film walking up to a homeless man sitting on the roadside curb in St. Louis and shooting him dead execution style. The video shows the suspect standing behind the homeless man who was looking the other way and loaded his handgun. The suspect then quickly stepped forward and points the firearm at the back of the homeless man's head. The video turns away just as the shot rings out. Okay, look at that. And who knows, man? Who knows? That could have been anybody. He probably just saw the first individual sitting there, and that was it. But you're gonna be faced with shit like this. We're all gonna be faced with shit like this. All right? So don't get too goddamn comfortable just because you ain't seeing this and it's not happening in your backyard. The scripture says, and the evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. What were pilgrims known for? Pilgrims are known for migrating from place to place, being all over the place. The same way those evils are going to be when the Lord kicks them off, man. All right? Let's keep it moving. All right, we got the St. Louis man. What's this one here? This one says, sentencing continues in McLean County for man convicted of killing young mother and unborn child. Okay? That's unthinkable. To the rational mind, that's unthinkable. You know? People are going to sit there and shake their heads. How can somebody do something like that? What would ever possess somebody to do something like that? All right? First and foremost, the Lord is putting the spirit upon all men to do as he would have them do. It's not their will, it's the Lord's will. So when you read about a 17-year-old boy killing 3 people, when you read about these people driving down to Mexico to get some tummy tuck, they end up getting wiped out. When you read about a FedEx man jumping out, pulling out and snatching a little 7-year-old girl and killing her. When you read and hear about these things, man, this is all done by the hand of the Lord. The Lord said, I killeth and I make alive. I bring it down to the grave and lift it up. Okay? And again, it's the spiritual side of this is where you have to understand that this is all of the Lord. Because if you lack wisdom and lack understanding, you are not going to be able to put the pieces of this puzzle together. And when you hear about a 7-year-old getting murdered, or You know, a man killing a mother and an unborn child. When you hear about these things, you know, you're absolutely taken back because it's unheard
It is
of.
day 2 of sentencing for a man convicted of killing a pregnant mom. Stole Finkbeiner's the ultimate was found dead. A pregnant mom. In 2018, Shalia Toombs was found dead just weeks before she was set to give birth to her third child. A jury found Joshua Finkbeiner guilty of murder this week, and now prosecutors want him to pay the ultimate price. News 4's Caitlin Ogle has been in the courtroom all week. She's live for us today with the testimony. Katie? Well, today's topic was all about Finkbeiner's ability to be easily manipulated, specifically by his alleged drug dealer girlfriend, who attorneys say ordered Finkbeiner to kill Toombs. Multiple witnesses taking the stand while defense attorneys try to spare Joshua Finkbeiner from the death penalty. In 2018, Finkbeiner and his girlfriend, Stacey Harjo, believed Toombs stole Finkbeiner's work backpack full of tools. Prosecutors say, quote, he killed Shalia Toombs over nothing. At gunpoint, the couple forced the pregnant mother of 2 to join the search for the bag. Prosecutors say it was Harjo, an alleged drug dealer, who told Finkbeiner to strangle Toombs. Shalia, quote, fought and clawed and begged. After multiple tries, Finkbeiner stopped. Then Harjo told the third suspect, Daniel Vasquez, to finish the job. Days later, Vasquez was found with her body in Goldsby and the couple found in Arkansas. Thursday, Harjo's son testifying his mother, quote, hurt a lot of people.
I don't want to get too deep on that, but anyway, you brothers get the gist of what's happening here. You see? You get the gist of what's happening. All right? So there's no love lost. There's no love in the air. The scriptures speak about that. And I would read a little bit of this, but that video kind of went through it for me, so I'm just going to, speak on it a little bit more. And now the families of this unborn child and the families of the mother, are now, perplexed at why something like this could happen. All right. Maybe she was stealing the tool bag. Maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. But the Lord saw fit to have her spirit return back to the Heavenly Father. You can't argue with that, man. You can't argue with that. The Lord's program. And this is why when we pray and make supplication to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we ask him that he preserve our life, that we may see the fall of our enemy. Okay? But if it be his will that we be martyrs on this side, then let his will be done. All right? There's no mystery, man. You got people out here trying to save their life, trying to do all they can to preserve their life. This place is wicked, man. And after the readings of the Apostle Paul and the spirit that he was in, as he said he'd rather have passed over to be with Yahweh Shai. Knowing the shit that he had undergone, the shit that he went through, and the shit he was expected to go through. But he said it was most needful for him to be here so that we can get this information. All right? So the unborn child and the mother both put to death. It was issued by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Continuing on. We got here. This one says, a Cincinnati man indicted for abducting, raping several women multiple times in 1 week. And again, you're going to see this. This is going to be one of the top things that are going to be happening in the world when society breaks down. All right? When it goes back to a barbaric state, this is what you're going to be faced with. And you're going to have to deal with it. And a lot of you women, man, you're going to find out real soon that you ain't as strong or independent as you think you are. So here this dude had raped several women. And I'm sure several of these women had to have identified themselves as strong and, black maybe, and make their own money and do all this. When the shit hits the fan, you are not going to be able to compete with a man physically. Okay? And when a man gets that rage inside of him, there's not going to be any woman that's going to be able to stand toe to toe with that man. And this is why you have the article, the headline as it states, abducting, raping several women multiple times in 1 week. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure some of these women had probably said to themselves, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man, this, that, and that. You're going to need a man when these upcoming trials and tribulations, the time of Jacob trouble comes. You're going to need a man. There's no doubt about it. All right? And it's not even about sex or popping a woman. It's not even about that, man. You see? You know, a simple mind would say, oh, yeah, we're gonna just hit them, bang them, bitch. Nah. You know? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't happen, but that's not going to be the primary, thing to be looking for. The scriptures speak about, 7 women taking hold of one man, right? But the key point is, what are the things that the women say? We'll wear our own bread and we'll eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name. Why? Protection. Protection. That's why these women are going to want to be called by a brother's name. Because without that, what are you going to be faced with? You're going to be faced with guys just like this, lurking in the shadows, waiting for you to pop around the corner so he can bust you over the head and drag you off into the bushes. Take it lightly if you want to. Be our guest. But know the time is coming. The time is coming. So it would behoove you women to get your ass in order now and getting through the Spirit of the Lord, getting the good graces of the men of the Lord. Okay? It says Forest Park man reportedly forced women into vehicles and raped them 3 times in 1 week. This dude's a savage, man. And this is just one man. This is just one. Can you imagine when you got 1,000, 2,000 men? And that's on a low number. That's a low number. All these men that you see walking these streets, the homeless walking these streets, men who are just, who have that mindset, but are afraid of just, getting caught and dealing with the police. Because believe you me, there's not going to be any police out here. There's not going to be any protection. There's not going to be anybody you can run to, a victim advocate or some type of shelter. You ain't going to be able to find any of that shit. It's going to be total breakdown of society. And the scriptures tell you that the doors in the street are going to be shut. You ain't going to be able to run to anybody and run to an establishment and banging on the door screaming for help, because people are going to mind their business in that day. Somebody may be in hot pursuit of you and you running from door to door. You think these people are going to open their door to help you and let you in? Hell no. Hell no. You're going to be screaming and hollering, and there's motherfuckers going to be like, yeah, okay, well, unfortunately, we can't let you in here, lady. It says Rodolfo Castillo was indicted on 6 counts of kidnapping, 3 counts of aggravated robbery, and 1 count of robbery, 4 counts of rape, and 1 count of attempted rape. WCPO reports. All right. So just keep in mind, you women who profess yourselves to be strong and independent and making your own money and all this other nonsense that you like to label yourself as. He, she, they, with all that shit. Just remind you, there's going to be 101 Rodolfo Castillos out there looking to put your shit to the test. All right? Looking to put your money where your mouth is. We going to see how strong you are. Now, do I want this happening to you women? No, I don't want you I don't want it, but it's going to happen. Because the scriptures say it's going to happen. Quoting, and their wives ravished. So therefore, that time is going to come. You need to settle it in your mind, in your heart, that there's going to be a road, a crossroads that you're going to come to. You probably don't even believe. You may have heard of Hebrew Israelites. You probably don't believe. You probably talked all kinds of shit. But in that day and that hour, the only men who are going to have that kind of protection are the men of the Lord. All right? Let's keep it moving. Going on down the line. What's this one here? It says, teen found dead, wrapped in a blanket in Mojave County. Parents arrested sheriff's office. Well, this must be a situation where the parents took the little son out, or took the little child out. Let's see what they got to say. Maybe a commercial first. Yeah. Hey guys. We pause that commercial. All right. Nobody can be trusted. Nobody.
Kingman couple under arrest. They were accused of disposing the body of their 16-year-old son. Investigators in Mojave County say Amber Leah Valentine and John Eames lied to them last month, saying their son had run away. Days later, deputies say they found the teen's body wrapped in a blanket behind a stone wall. Meantime, their roommate, Richard Pounds, is also under arrest. He's accused of holding the couple's 14-year-old daughter.
Oh, what the hell happened here? I don't know what the hell happened, but you get the gist of it. Now it's getting to the point where people are so damn stupid, they ain't even bury the little body. They just throw it behind a brick wall. But again, irrational minds. And they're going to become more irrational as time goes on. Especially when the lack of food is present, the lack of water is present, the lack of shelter is present. When these things start surfacing, you're going to get irrational people doing irrational things, man. Headlines. This is what we're reading. Headlines. And this is just but a few. It says, Kingman, Arizona. The investigation into the death of a 16-year-old Arizona boy has led to the arrest of 3 people, including the teen's parents. The Mojave County Sheriff's Office says 41-year-old John Imus and Amber Leah Valentine, 41, reported to deputies on February 25th that their 16-year-old son had run away from their Kingman home. The couple told deputies their son was last seen 2 days prior to 10 a.m. On February 28th, deputies found the body wrapped in a blanket behind a stone wall in Kingman. The victim was not identified, and autopsy results are pending. A few days later, on March 2nd, Valentine called the sheriff's office to report that she had just freed her 14-year-old daughter, who was allegedly being held captive by Valentine's roommate, 39-year-old Shaban Guja, and Richard Pounds, 34. Yeah, I can go on and on with this, but boom, you get the gist of it. Okay? Again, even the parents are turning to irrational things. Last thing one would want to do is kill their own child. Okay? But this is the time we're living in. These are the things that are happening. All right, we got a couple more and we'll hit a couple scriptures. This is New York Times. This is Mayor Adams to New York City shoppers. Drop that mask. All right? Now, here we have here in New York, Mayor Adams is trying to put the pieces in place. As everybody walks into the store who's wearing a mask, you got to pull your mask down. Now, when you walk into Walmart's, the first thing you see on the walls are those cameras. And, again, they're for identification purposes. So this is what the mayor is trying to establish. At least if you walk through a store, you pull your mask down, your face can be recognized with facial recognition, or they'll have a clear image of who you are in the event that something pops off. Okay? But again, to think that people were going to jail if they didn't pull that mask up and wear that mask in the store. Now they can't stress hard enough or profess hard enough that when you come in, take it down. You see? It's all confusion, man. It's pure confusion. This whole thing with the mask is nothing new. They did this shit in the early 1900s. They did it. Okay? They did it prior to that as well. So this isn't nothing new. Esau always counts the costs, and he always looks at the pros and the cons of everything that he does. And Jake, they done took this mask shit to the ultimate extreme. And now you giving Jake a green light, because Jake is the worst offenders. They really are. It ain't no secret. But now you've given them a green light to wear a mask in any location, any indoors events, and they don't have to take it down because of these mask mandates that were put in place. But now, what follows that? High crime rates, man. High crime rates by people who were already wearing masks, who already had a devious mindset. Okay? So you can't have your cake and eat it too, Esau. And the people just follow it, hook, line, and sinker. And this is why you people look like sheep. You're afraid to buck up against the system. You're afraid to challenge or even question the system that got you in such tight bondage where you can't see clearly. It's affecting the bondage is so tight, it's affecting the oxygen level going to your brain, so you people can't even think clearly. All right? So good luck with that, Mr. Mayor of New York, Mayor Adams. You thinking that's going to solve the problem? There's some real difficult days that are coming upon this place, man. And those masks are going to be like a criminal's best friend. What's this one here? This is man pleads guilty in murder of 9-year-old Trinity Ottoson Smith. All right, what's this one about? It might be a commercial, so bear with me as it loads up. And that's another thing too, man. Some of these people, some of these articles that we read, these people are pleading guilty because the Lord probably put a spirit on them at that moment to do the dirty deed, if you will, and then took the spirit away, and then what? They were sitting there like,
well, happening right now, family and friends are gathering to remember Trinity Ottoson Smith. She's the 9-year-old girl who was killed after being hit by a stray bullet while playing on a trampoline at her friend's house in Minneapolis. That was 1 year ago today. John Croman is live at Becker Park in Crystal, where the public remembrance is just getting started. Hi, John.
Hey, they're going to be doing the barbecue here pretty soon at this park, and then later at sunset, there'll be a balloon release for Trinity. She died a year ago today, 12 days after being shot, just doing what all kids try to do, play in her yard.
If you know who did this, I know you watching this. If you did this, I know you watching this.
It was a time marked by pain and anguish that in the matter of a few weeks, 3 children, LaDavion, Trinity, and Anaya, would be struck by bullets aimed at someone else.
It could be something as simple as, why are you looking at me? That can lead to gunplay. It's the atmosphere in the city, and let me say this, in the country, is so toxic.
Reverend Jerry McAfee of the New Salem Baptist Church was among those out there saying enough is enough.
We cannot have no more kids hurt.
9-year-old Trinity Otteson Smith was jumping on a trampoline with other children last May 15th when she was caught in the crossfire in a drive-by shooting. She died 12 days later. Her image would be seen on billboards alongside 11-year-old LaDavion Garrett Jr., who was hit and severely injured by a stray bullet in his parents' car, and 6-year-old Anaya Allen, hit by a stray bullet in her mom's car.
And it seems that we conveniently forget. Perhaps it's a protective mechanism, but it's dangerous. We cannot forget, because if we forget it, we won't move towards positive action.
In February, prosecutors charged 19-year-old Dupree Robinson with second-degree murder, alleging he was shooting at someone else when he fired the rounds that took Trinity's life. And while
And there you have it. And that's the case most of the damn time anyway, Jake. Jake's shooting and busting shots and don't even hit the intended target. Hit everything and everybody but the intended target. But again, let the Lord's will be done. Okay? So this is nothing new. Be warned. Okay? You're being admonished right now of the things to come. And worse. Okay? Then we got one more. Then we get a couple scriptures and we close it out. This one is Colorado man found guilty of killing girlfriend's 3-year-old son in 2018. Okay? There's a lot of killing, man. And not to mention, there's a lot of killing of kids. That last one was jumping in the backyard on a trampoline. Caught a stray bullet. Who knows what this man did to this child? This kid. I don't know if they're going to show a video. It says Denver. A Denver jury has found 37-year-old man guilty of killing a 3-year-old boy in September of 2018. John Aforit was found guilty on March 3rd of first-degree murder of a victim under 12 by a person in a position of trust, child abuse causing death, and reckless endangerment. Oh, so he must have been babysitting the kid. Kid was probably acting up, crying, or some shit. It says he is set for sentencing April 6th. Afretrit was charged with killing his girlfriend's son at an apartment along the 900 block of South Delilah Street on September 25th, 2018. Paramedics responded to the apartment after receiving a report that a child was not breathing. The boy was declared dead shortly afterwards. Later that same day, both Afretrit and his girlfriend agreed to cooperate with the investigation and talk with the police. Afretrit said his girlfriend and her son had moved in with him in the beginning of August of 2018, according to the arrest affidavit. Afretrit said he was currently unemployed and would watch the child while his mother was at work. Afretrit explained to the police that about a week prior, he had been bathing the child and the boy fell into the bathtub. He had a cut on each of his eyes and a knot on his head, according to Afretrit. Investigators said this seemed suspicious as eyelids are usually not injured in falls. The boy then became sick and lethargic, Afretrit told the police. So he didn't I'm not going to read anymore, but he didn't poison the little boy. You see? This boy was slowly being put to death, man. So another thing, death doesn't always come in an instant. A long, drawn-out death is probably the worst one can endure because you know that your body and your spirit is slipping away, but there's nothing you can do. You see? But, again, and I'll keep mentioning it, it's the Lord's will that's being done. So the things that we're going to see and experience in these last days, in these last few months coming up, that the Lord is going to truly be a terrible power in this earth. Okay? No matter what one would believe or what one would think or how much they think they know the Lord and love the Lord, a lot of people are going to turn their back on the Lord when they start to realize it's him who's doing the killing. All right? So let's get a couple scriptures. 2 Ezra 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right? Key point being, a man's not having any pity. You're not seeing any pity with these headlines that we read. Okay? These upcoming times are going to be like no other, man. And it's not going to be a thing that's going to last for a day or a couple days. You're going to try to weather the storm. There's no weathering the storm when someone is shoving a knife into you or putting a bullet in your forehead. There's no weathering the storm. Okay? So a man's not going to have any pity upon his neighbor. And we're already seeing, effects of that. Matthew 24:12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You know there's no love. You know the love is waxed cold when a man who's watching a woman's child slowly beats him and kills him. All right? There's no love there. You know there's no love when two parents kill their only 16-year-old son and put him in a blanket and throw him behind a brick wall. There's no love there. And that's just continually to increase and intensify. Road rage is at an all-time high. Neighbors or relatives in the same dwelling building is on a rise of some type of violent crime being done unto them. You know? So don't let the fact that this place is still kind of has a little order to it. Don't be surprised when you wake up one morning and shit is hitting the fan. Because that's what's going to happen, man. That's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to wake up one morning and all hell's going to be breaking loose. Okay? And if it's not when you exactly wake up, shortly thereafter, all hell's going to be breaking loose. You're going to think you know the answers. You're going to think you know the problem, but you don't. Because it's going to be an ongoing thing by the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why. Okay? 2 Ezra 6:24. It says, and at that time shall friends fight against one another, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. Okay? There's going to be, we have a job to do. All right? And the Lord set us up to be watchers and prophets. That's what the Lord set us up to do. And because of the day and age that we live in, people hear the word prophet and think this individual is mysterious and, very well dressed or very spoken or shit. He couldn't be floating around the place. Okay? But being prophets of the Lord, letting the people know that these things are going to happen. These things are right around the corner. One may say, yeah, you've been saying that for years. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it doesn't make it void because it's going to happen. All right, continuing on. Let's go here. This is 2 Ezra 13:31. And it says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. That's pretty crystal clear right there. Not only are those evils going to be here in Babylon the Great, but those evils are going to be all around the world. And the Lord is going to see to it that there's still going to be a lot of death and destruction coming. And we as prophets of the Lord, servants of the Lord, we have to make do on our end of the deal by once we put our hands to the plow, we entered into a prisoner contract, if you will. We now belong to Yahweh Shai. We have no means of relief or exit out of this thing. But as we want the Lord's will to be done. Let these things that may be destroyed be destroyed. Let those individuals who are going to be a part of the 2/3, let them suffer the death that they deserve. And may the Lord continue to bless the hopeful elect, that we continually have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and meditate and maintain the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai until the time become where he destroys this place. All right. So with that, this was a quick hit on headlines. May you've been edified, and Lord willing, I'll see you on another show. I say shalom.